Master Series grips, 1911 grips for your obviously 1911 pistol. Obviously these are the Crimson Trace Master Series ones. We're gonna go ahead, keep shooting the gun a little bit, and then get into some of the details about these grips here. Taking a closer look here at the grips, the first thing you're going to notice here is the texturing. For those of you that are familiar with the G10 grips, that's what this texturing is here on the Master Series grips. The regular 1911 Crimson Trace do not have that, so that's one of the advantages, I guess you could say, of going with the Master Series. Here you see our master on-off switch, so just to turn them off, put it down, and turn it back on. You put it up so that way you're not negligently discharging your laser accidentally, or you can also save your battery while you're out there training if you're not actually using the laser. Up front here, this is our activation button. That's how they're activated. But just by naturally gripping it and squeezing it, that does activate the laser. And then on the other side here, you see our actual laser housing. We'll go ahead and open it up next so you can take a look and see what's actually going on the inside. I went ahead and removed the grips from the gun so you guys could see the inside of them. Basically what you get with them is you get two inserts here, so that way your batteries are not actually touching the frame of your gun. And you also get two batteries and an instruction manual that comes with it. But opening it up, you can see the circuitry of it. Like I said, there's two batteries there. Those are CR2025 batteries, and there's your pressure switch, which activates the laser itself. You can see on the right side of the pistol it is a little larger due to the laser housing being there, but other than that, they're generally symmetrical. I'm going to go ahead and try to address some of the issues that people often bring up with laser sights first, before getting into these ones specifically. First and foremost, they say that it can get washed out on a bright sunny day. Like right now it's pretty bright out. What I did is I went ahead and painted the target white with a nice bright glossy white, and we're going to show you what this laser looks like from 15 meters away while I was firing a few shots on it. So as you saw there, it is still visible on a white background. It may not stand out quite as much as a green laser would in that environment, but obviously the red is going to give you a much better battery life than the green would. And the other thing people always say about lasers is people who have really never used them, they say that they're going to use them at night to illuminate their targets. So what I'm going to do next is show you what it looks like using this little guy at night with no other light. Although I do have two flashlights, they're iPhone flashlights behind me, it's definitely still hard to make that target out. Still kind of hazy, if you will. If you're in a crowd of people, it definitely would still be hard to pick up. So that's something you need to consider if you're going to be using a laser for defense at night. But anyway, we'll take a few shots on target and see if we can make it work. As you can see there, it still works. No doubt about it. It helps you get on target. You don't need that sight acquisition. As you guys saw here on the Rock Island, we do have fiber optic sights on there, so there's no illumination whatsoever. I was just relying on the Crimson Trace laser to light up the target, or to pinpoint the target rather. Not too sure how well that showed up on camera, but you were able to identify the target a little bit with the light that the laser does emit. But in my opinion, if you're going to use a laser at night for identifying targets, you probably want to use a light as well, something like a TRL2, or perhaps just a separate light in addition to your laser. Anyway, we'll get into the specific grips here a little bit more. The grips here are adjustable for elevation and windage. The knob is going to be right there. They also, Crimson Trace, all grips, laser grips, as well as their lights, come with batteries for life. So basically all you need to do is go on and put your register for the form with your receipt, and they will send you a set of new batteries out every year, which is pretty sweet. I've actually gotten them in the past, so that is a good thing. The dot that this thing puts out is designed to be half an inch at 50 feet. I've found that to be pretty much accurate. So out to 50 feet, you're still only putting about a half-inch dot on someone, enough to I guess identify the laser, but not so big that it's going to like wash out your target and you're not going to know where you're actually going to be impacting the target. They do come with a 3-year warranty. That said, I think Crimson Trace will probably actually cover these for a lot longer than that. A friend of mine had an old Crimson Trace laser grip set for his Glock, and he had it for years, like I want to say 7-8 years, back when Crimson Traces first came out, and they covered it just like 6 months ago. He broke it in training, and they covered it. No questions asked. So their stated warranty is 3 years, but from what I've seen anyway, they seem to cover it a little bit longer than that. One of the things that I talked about earlier with the red laser giving you a little bit more battery, this laser will give you 4 hours of continuous runtime. Obviously you don't want to be continuously running it, but if you choose to do so, it will give you 4 hours. Some of the green lasers out there are going to be a little bit less than that, or a good bit less than that I should say, so that's one of the advantages of the red laser. Obviously not as bright though out in daylight. A con of these for sure is going to be price. They're not cheap. The Crimson Trace Master Series is going to run generally $300 to $400-ish. The standard Crimson Trace laser grips the non-Master Series one that don't have that G10 texturing are going to run anywhere from 179 to 300 depending on which model and where you find them. So that pretty much covers these grips specifically in terms of the Crimson Trace Master Series ones, but I know if I don't get into what I think about laser grips in general, I'm going to get a lot of questions on them, so I'm going to try to answer that here real quick. They definitely have some pros and cons. One of the first pros is a dry firing aid. My wife is still a relatively new shooter and maybe medium skill level, if you will, in terms of her proficiency out on the range, in terms of accuracy, follow-up shot speed, things like that. And this gun, these grips definitely help her understand what I'm trying to tell her that she may be doing that can improve her skill set, if you will. So we'll sit down in the living room every now and then and get out a set of laser grips, whether it be these. I also have these for my Glocks, and just do some dry fire practice. And instead of me out there on the range telling her that she's shooting low left because she's pushing the trigger, with the dry fire practice she can actually see it. So she can physically see that she's doing this to the trigger, and it really helps her understand what I mean when I'm giving her those instructions or tips out on the range. So definitely a good training aid for new shooters there. Another advantage to them is firing from odd positions. On static ranges, which is what we typically practice on most shooters anyway, you're standing up, you're moving, you're on a bench. Those are all traditional firing positions, but in real life you might get knocked down, you might have to fire around the corner where you don't want to expose too much of yourself and you're kind of leaning around to see and you can't quite get that sight picture. Well, the lasers will ensure that you can still see where your bullets are going to impact. So they help in non-standard firing positions for sure. Another thing that people are always going to bring up, and there may be some truth to it, is that they may de-escalate the situation. There's certainly some after-action reports out there of police officers using lasers to de-escalate a situation where the suspect gets a laser on their chest and all of a sudden they realize that their life's in danger and they stop doing nefarious activities. That said, I would not rely on that. I do not rely on that impact, because a lot of times people won't even realize there's a laser pointed at them, but it certainly could do that for sure. Some cons to them. For new shooters, I think they may be used as a crutch. If you're not used to identifying that front sight, getting it on target, and all you're used to is just seeing that laser and shooting that way, then you may develop some bad habits, and then at that critical moment when you go to defend your life or someone else's life and that laser's not working, it may cause you to pause a second, and that pause may cause your life. So for new shooters, I'd have them generally rely on the irons first and then move over to lasers once they get comfortable and used to acquiring sight picture and the target. Just my personal preference there. And another negative of these ones, which are instinctively activated, as you guys saw there when I was firing at night, I accidentally kind of touched the laser off just by gripping it, and that's me doing it. So if you're trying to kind of hide out in an ambush position, perhaps for home defense or something like that, and you have your gun oriented on the door or entryway, you don't want to negatively discharge that laser and give away your position, because lasers are just like tracers and lights for that matter. They work both ways, so they give away your position as well as illuminate threats or identify threats or show where your bullet's going. So just something to think about there, and that's nothing training can't overcome. It absolutely can be overcome by training, but it's just something to think about. But as always, guys, if you have any questions about these specific grips here, or what I think about this, or anything else I review here on the channel, feel free to post in the comment section below. You can also post over at my Facebook page. But thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, I really appreciate it, and hope to see you in the next video.